Hey everybody. So I just saw something about how I guess the U.S. is sending an additional $14 billion or something of aid to Israel to fight this war and all this. And I haven't really been keeping too much tabs on the situation because I feel like it's a contrived operation to create more conflict, chaos, and low vibrational energy. And it's like, oh, and there's also like not much I can really do. Like there's people protesting in Washington right now, which I don't know, man. Protesting doesn't seem to really do much. I mean, there's a lot of protesting in the Vietnam War, and it didn't do anything. You know what? We lost the Vietnam War. It was an unrighteous war to begin with. I mean, the Gulf of Tonkin was completely contrived. You know, we lost 58,000 Americans and killed like 1 million Vietnamese, and we lost because it was unrighteous. I mean, I do believe that's true. Like the dog that's in the right's going to win the fight type thing. We shouldn't have been there. Domino theory, it's a bunch of bullshit. Like even if that is true, even if communism spreads. I mean, you got to let things fucking spread. I mean, is it more evil than capitalism? I mean, who gets to decide these type of things? You're going to look at the actual specifics. Like, what evilness has the Vietnamese people perpetuated? Really, compared to us? Like, we've fucking done some bad shit. And then the thing about us, too, is like we're doing it under this guise that we're the good guys. And it's like, and it's sad, too, because I believe that most Americans are good. Like, generally, from what I've experienced going to multiple different cities, living on streets of multiple different major cities, I've met a lot of really good, decent human beings. I think that's like that all over the place too. But it's like they get put in these situations where they get into these organizations and the military organizations where they have to follow rules and orders. You know, and if you don't, there's severe consequences because they want absolute discipline. I mean, that's how you have an effective fighting unit is you have them under control. You don't allow any type of fucking disloyalty or obstruction of justice or any type of, like, if you do, you're seriously reprimanded because they know that it's contagious. Like if one person starts questioning an order, another person might, another person might, another person might, then you might have a big old fucking problem on your hands, and they don't want that. So they fucking put a fucking they put that shit out quick by having severe fucking penalties for people who go against the chain of command. So I'm going to make another video on this later because that was part of the downloads I received yesterday on my walk was something for our service members. But anyway, I want to talk about Seth Rogen because I saw he said something very interesting. It was a very good point. And he is a Jew, a self-proclaimed Jew. So, and he knows, you know, more than I do. I'm not a Jew, so I don't have the interknowledges of their, I mean, I don't know, is technical to religion or I don't know much about Jewish tradition, but Seth Rogen, being a Jew, knows more than me. And one thing he said that he's essentially been lied to by his own people for a very long time. And one thing that they don't tell you is that before Israel was made a state, there were people living on that land, have been living on that land for thousands of years. And then because of World War II and us winning World War II and all this and that, we just decide to cut out this small little area and give it to these certain people, which if there's nobody living there, it would be fine. But there were people living there before that. So we essentially went in there and removed the native people of that land and replaced them with people whom we decided to be there. Now, this is nothing against Jewish people or anything like that, but I'm just saying you have to look at things from a perspective of like the United States has a very close relationship with Israel. And it's like the United States has done exactly that. It has gone in. That's what we did to the Native Americans. We came into their land and took over it. And we gave them the shit parts. Let's be real. We gave the reservations. They're not the best parts of the land. They're the kind of the shittier parts of the land. That's why they're in such poverty these days because we remove them to these reservations that don't have the greatest ability to grow soil. We've killed off all the livestock, so they're not only able to hunt, so they can't live in their traditional ways. We've essentially eliminated their ability to live in good harmony with nature, which is essentially how the native each tribe was different, but feels like it's a large consensus of their practice was to live in harmony with the earth and nature and animals. But we eliminated their ability to do so by giving them the shit land. And then we also gave them, you know, money so that they don't have to work, and a lot of them end up, you know, getting addicted to drugs. You know, I'm one of the most creative and powerful human beings I've met my entire life was a Native American that I met in rehab. And he's the one who also told me, this is important, he's on, because when we were talking, and I actually was like, I'm sorry for what my people did to your people, because I think it's fucked up what we did. He told me something crazy. He was like, yeah, I mean, he listened, I could tell he kind of appreciated that, but he was like, you know what, we had it coming, because the Native Americans, they started doing fucked up shit too. And, you know, it's just like, that's what allows things in. That's what allowed us to come in and do what we did. Doesn't mean what we're doing is right, because we're essentially playing the card of the devil by going in there and destroying, any resistance and making them convert to our ways and replacing them from the area that they had already colonized and moving them to a lesser fucking fertile land to where they're now essentially dependent on our system and our services, and introducing them to alcohol and all these type of things. They just got really sick. I mean, smallpox, the smallpox blankets, like they didn't have the immunity we had, so a lot of them died from diseases that we brought over from a foreign country and gave to them. So anyway, and I mean, I know a lot of these reservations, a lot of these Indians, tribes and stuff, they build casinos, and they're kind of putting curses on themselves because they're choosing to use their own reservation land to fucking allow people to gamble. And it's like there's a lot of corruption involved in that too, but they're not all like that, of course. They're just like what a Navajo teacher that I see on YouTube has said, there's good and bad in everything. There's good and bad in all races and all peoples, but we're all one human family, and just like singling one race and saying one race is specifically this way and one race specifically that way is just ludicrous. It's not true. It's not right, and it's wrong, and it's also something that nefarious agencies and entities have been using to divide people and get people to kill each other. But anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to Seth Rogen because he brought up a real good point. Like, yeah, man, there was people living in that area before, we brought in the Israeli people. And it's like, how do you think you would feel if somebody just came in and was like, okay, well, you're no longer the ruling people of this place. We're going to reintroduce this completely foreign population into this area, give them your home essentially is now going to be their home, and you're just going to have to deal with it. Like, there's going to be some resistance. There's going to be some conflict. That seems inevitable. It seems inherent. It seems the right thing to do. I mean, I'd be kind of pissed too if somebody just came over to my land and was like, yo, you guys don't live here anymore. No, we're going to move you and we're going to allow these other people in, and you're just going to have to deal with it. Like, come on, dude. That's just a recipe for disaster or conflict, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, all right, I love you guys. Y'all take care. Bye.